November 23rd. The rain over the Marina Bay Circuit was not a weather event. It was a curtain of heavy, suffocating velvet dropping over the neon city. The humidity was a physical weight, pressing against the floor-to-ceiling glass of the penthouse suite like a sweaty palm. Dante stood by the window, watching the track below. It was a black river of asphalt, slick and treacherous, reflecting the fractured lights of the skyscrapers. Tomorrow, that asphalt would demand everything. It would demand precision. It would demand blood. And it would demand the kind of speed that turned human vision into a blurred tunnel of survival. But tonight, the silence in the room was louder than any engine. Dante felt the tension in his own body like a coiled spring in a cheap watch, wound too tight, threatening to snap and send gears flying across the room. He was 32 years old. In this sport, that was ancient. He was a monument to discipline, a man who had excised fear from his nervous system with the precision of a surgeon. He lived his life in milliseconds, calculating apexes and breaking points, never allowing emotion to drag on his aerodynamics. Yet, the reflection in the glass stared back at him with eyes that betrayed the lie. He wasn't calm. He was vibrating. A low-frequency hum of anxiety rattled his ribcage. It wasn't the race that terrified him. He knew the car. He knew the physics of grip and downforce. No, it was him. Kai. The name alone felt like a spark plug misfiring in Dante's chest. Kai, with his reckless grin and his driving style that bordered on a death wish. Kai, who drove like he was trying to outrun a ghost. The 10 months they had circled each other on the tarmac, trading paint at 200 miles per hour, a violent waltz of carbon fiber and ego. The media called it a rivalry. Dante knew it was something far more dangerous. It was an obsession, an infection. Tonight was supposed to be about focus, about visualization, but the air in the suite felt charged, ionized, as if a storm were gathering inside the walls. Dante took a sip of water, but his throat remained dry. He checked his watch. 11 o'clock. The knock on the door was inevitable. He had not invited him, yet he had been waiting for him since the moment the checkered flag dropped on qualifying. Fate, it seemed, was tired of waiting for the green light. Leo did not look up from the burner. He was leaning back in his chair, balancing on 2 legs, defying gravity and the dress code simultaneously. His tie was loose, his white shirt unbuttoned at the collar, revealing the pale, sharp line of his throat. "Stop vibrating, King," Leo said. His voice was low, a dry scratch against the humidity of the room. "You are making the beakers rattle." Marcus clenched his pen until the plastic groaned. "I am not vibrating. I am studying. Some of us utilize our time efficiently." "Studying," Leo scoffed, finally turning his head. His eyes were a startling, washed-out gray, like the storm outside. They dissected Marcus with surgical precision. "You are reading the same paragraph for the 15th time. I have been counting." "Do not look at me," Marcus snapped, his composure slipping. "And do not talk to me." "It is hard not to look," Leo replied, letting the chair legs slam down onto the floor. The sound echoed like a gunshot. He stood up and walked toward Marcus's table. He moved with a languid, predatory grace, like a cat that knows it owns the alley. "You look like you are about to shatter. It is fascinating. The marble statue is actually made of cheap plaster." Leo stopped at the edge of Marcus's desk. He was close. Too close. Marcus could smell him, the scent of old books, rain, and the faint, bitter aroma of cigarettes. It was a messy, human smell, completely unlike the sterile cologne Marcus wore. "I am fine," Marcus lied, but his voice lacked its usual resonance. Leo smirked. He reached out and tapped the back of Marcus's hand with one long finger. The contact was electric. It wasn't a spark, it was a jolt of direct current. Marcus jerked his hand back as if burned. "You are terrified," Leo whispered, leaning in. His gray eyes were dilated. "You realize today that you are not perfect, and it is eating you alive. You are wondering what happens if you stop running. You are wondering if anyone will still love you if you aren't the president." "Shut up," Marcus hissed, standing up. He was taller than Leo, broader, physically imposing, but Leo didn't flinch. "You know nothing about me. You are just a burnout who is wasting his scholarship." "And you are a fraud," Leo countered softly, tilting his head up. "But you are a beautiful fraud, Marcus. And I think you want to break. I think you are begging for someone to push you off that pedestal." The air between them compressed. The storm outside flashed, illuminating the room in a stark white strobe. In that split second of light, Marcus saw the hunger in Leo's eyes. It wasn't mockery, it was a challenge. And for the first time in his life, Marcus didn't want to win the debate. He wanted to lose. Thunder shook the foundations of the building. The lights flickered once, twice, and then died. The lab plunged into darkness. The only light came from the lightning flashing intermittently through the tall windows, casting long, dancing shadows across the rows of chemical glassware. "Perfect," Marcus muttered, his heart hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. The darkness stripped away his control. He couldn't see his reflection. He couldn't fix his mask. "Scared of the dark, Mr. President?" Leo's voice came from right in front of him. He hadn't moved back. If anything, he was closer. "I am not." Leo's hand covered Marcus's mouth. It was a shocking, tactile violation of space. Leo's palm was cool, calloused, smelling of ink. Marcus froze. His brain screamed at him to push Leo away, to reassert authority, but his body betrayed him. His body leaned into the touch. "Stop talking," Leo whispered, his breath hot against Marcus's ear. "Just for once in your life, stop curating your sentences. Stop performing." Leo moved his hand from Marcus's mouth to his neck, his thumb pressing into the pulse point that was beating a frantic rhythm. "Your heart is racing, 120 beats per minute, maybe more." "You are crossing a line," Marcus managed to choke out, but his hands were gripping the edge of the slate table behind him, knuckles white. He was anchoring himself against the tidal wave of sensation. "There is no line," Leo murmured. "There is just us. No teachers, no voters, no father." Leo stepped into the space between Marcus's legs. The friction of their bodies was sudden and overwhelming. Marcus felt the heat radiating from Leo's chest. It was a magnetic pull, a gravitational collapse. "Why do you hate me?" Marcus whispered, the question stripping him bare. "I don't hate you," Leo said, his voice dropping to a raw, jagged register. "I watch you. I have watched you for 4 years. I watch you polish that armor every morning, and I hate that you think you have to wear it." Leo paused, his forehead resting against Marcus's chin. "I want to see what is underneath, Marcus." Marcus broke. The dam holding back 18 years of pressure shattered. He didn't think, he reacted. He grabbed Leo's blazer, bunching the fabric in his fists, and pulled him in. The kiss was not gentle. It was a collision of desperate needs. It tasted of frustration and rain. Marcus kissed him like he was drowning, and Leo was oxygen. He kissed him with anger, with relief, with a terrifying hunger. Leo made a low sound in his throat and kissed back with equal force, his hands tangling in Marcus's perfect hair, ruining the style, messing him up. For a few minutes, there was no academy, no future, no expectations. There was only the sound of rain, the dark lab, and the friction of skin against skin. It was the most honest conversation Marcus had ever had. The lights buzzed back on with a jarring, fluorescent hum. They broke apart, chests heaving, eyes wide. The sudden brightness was an assault. It exposed everything. Marcus's swollen lips, Leo's flushed cheeks, the undeniable reality of what had just happened. Marcus stepped back, hitting the table. The panic returned, instant and cold. The Golden Boy programming rebooted. He smoothed his tie. He touched his hair. He looked at the door. Marcus started, his voice trembling. This cannot happen. If anyone finds out. Leo didn't fix his clothes. He stood there, looking at Marcus with a devastating calmness. If anyone finds out, the statue cracks, your father gets mad, you lose the scholarship to Yale? Yes, Marcus shouted, the fear turning into anger. Yes, Leo, I have things to lose. You don't care about anything, but I have a life mapped out for me. I care about you, Leo shouted back, his voice cracking. It was the first time Marcus had ever heard him lose his cool. I care about the guy who is standing here shaking, not the billboard version of you. Leo walked over to his bag and picked it up. He looked defeated, not by the argument, but by Marcus's retreat. Fine. Go back to being perfect, Marcus. Go back to being alone. I won't tell anyone. Your secret is safe with the burnout. He turned to the door. Marcus watched him walk away. He saw the slump in Leo's shoulders. He looked around the sterile, bright lab. It was safe now. He could go back to his life. He could be the president. He could be the king. But the silence in the room wasn't peaceful anymore. It was hollow. It felt like a coffin. Marcus realized then that the armor wasn't protecting him. It was suffocating him. Leo, wait! It wasn't a command. It was a plea. Leo stopped, his hand on the doorknob. He didn't turn around. Marcus walked across the room. His footsteps were heavy, deliberate. He stopped behind Leo. He reached out and took Leo's hand, the hand that was on the knob.
He pulled it away from the door and interlaced their fingers. The contrast of their skin, deep mahogany against pale ivory, looked right. It looked like a completed circuit. I don't want to be alone, Marcus whispered to Leo's back. And I don't want to be perfect. Not with you. Leo turned around slowly. His gray eyes were guarded, searching for a lie. He didn't find one. It's going to be messy, Leo warned, a small, crooked smile touching his lips. I am a disaster, Marcus. I will ruin your reputation. Good, Marcus breathed, leaning his forehead against Leo's. Ruin it. Please. February 10th. The morning light over Monaco was not harsh like the track floodlights. It was soft, diffuse, a pale gold spilling over the Mediterranean. Dante sat on the terrace of the apartment, a cup of espresso cooling in his hand. The silence here was different. It wasn't the terrified silence of a hotel room before a race, nor the deafening silence of a crash. It was a rich, comfortable silence. The sound of the sea below was a steady rhythm, a metronome that required no calibration. He heard the sliding glass door open behind him. He didn't turn. He knew the footsteps. Bare feet on warm stone. Kai emerged into the sunlight, wearing nothing but sweatpants and a sleep-must expression. The jagged, nervous energy that had defined him all last season was gone. In its place was a languid grace. He looked like a cat stretching in a sunbeam, still dangerous perhaps, but content. He sat on the edge of Dante's lounge chair, stealing the espresso without asking. He took a sip, grimaced at the bitterness, and handed it back. The press is still analyzing the telemetry from Singapore, Kai said, his voice raspy with sleep. They are calling it a mysterious mechanical anomaly. They think your power unit clipped. Dante smiled, looking out at the yachts bobbing in the harbor. Let them analyze. The data will never show them what happened inside the helmet. You gave up a world championship, Kai murmured, looking down at his hands.
The hands that now held the trophy, but more importantly, held Dante's trust. Does it haunt you? The math of it? Dante reached out, resting his hand on the back of Kai's neck. He felt the steady pulse there. No racing, no panic, just life. The math changed, Dante said simply. I used to calculate victory by the gap to the car behind me. Now, he ran his thumb over the nape of Kai's neck, grounding him. Now I calculated by how soundly you sleep. Kai leaned into the touch, closing his eyes against the sun. You're getting soft, old man. And you are getting disciplined, Dante countered. I saw your simulator times yesterday. You were consistent, boring even. Kai laughed, a bright sound that mixed with the cry of the seagulls. I learned from the best, or the worst, depending on who you ask. They sat there for a long time as the city woke up below them. The new season was weeks away. The circus would start again. The cameras, the noise, the impossible pressure. They would be rivals again. They would wear different colors. They would fight for the same piece of asphalt at 200 miles per hour. But the fear was gone. Dante looked at Kai, backlit by the morning sun, and realized that for the first time in his career, he wasn't looking at the finish line. He was looking at the horizon. Ready for Melbourne? Kai asked, opening his eyes. The competitive spark was there, but it was playful now, not desperate. Always, Dante replied, leaning in to kiss him, a slow, coffee-tasting seal on their private contract. Just remember to check your mirrors. Why? Kai grinned against his lips. Because, Dante whispered, I'll be right there.